All right. You already know what it is. It's your boy, Garcia the Barber. Talk your barber shit. I'm gonna let the system do what it do. Start sending out notifications to everybody, letting them know that your boy is going live. Got a special guest tonight. Looking forward to having another dope conversation about our barbering industry, beauty industry, and things that a lot of people are having questions on and want to hear about, how to keep pushing forward and hear from these people that have been in the industry over 10, 20, 30 years and, are willing to come back and help our generation that's coming up and, trying our best to move forward and keep, pounding the curve, pounding this industry and taking it to the next level. So that's what it's about. What up, Pooh? I see you, man. So what's up? I see you guys tuning in. Let everybody know your boy's going live. You know, let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it growing. All right. I see Skip just logged in, so let's get it cracking. Let's get it going. Let me send my invitation, and he can join the live. My boy, my boy too. Boo said the generation coming up use a lot of paint enhancements and think that's real barbering. I hear you, man. We're gonna have you come back on my show so we can, dib and dab a little bit more on, you know, how we should, use certain techniques or things that's being available to us, but also master our craft first as far as cutting hair, where we can use these other items as well, but doesn't take away from the actual cut. So I hear what you're saying. All right,
What up?
Skip,
What
how
up?
you
What
doing,
up?
man?
I'm
What's
good,
going
man.
on?
I
How's your
can't
Sunday,
complain.
man? I hope I didn't take you away too much from the football.
No, no,
Hope
no.
you got.
I was just I just came from the shop, and now I came by the studio to work on music because I produce music too and shit. So
Okay, okay. So you're a well-rounded type person, so we're gonna have to dip in that also
I
as
stay
well.
creative. I stay creative. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, sir. Man, I just want to say appreciate you, jumping on this live.
I
Uh,
appreciate you having me, man.
man, it
For real, for
means
real.
a lot. Uh, I just started when I first came up with this idea. It was just a brainstorm, and I really didn't think how much it was really going to take shape and really go as far as it's being able to right now with all the amazing people that have joined my live, spoke on a lot of things about our industry, our barber industry, beauty industry, and had
Right.
people, tuning in and asking questions and also sharing their opinions where we was able to collectively have a group gathering about, things that are personal to us or we see and we have questions about, or is it possible that I can do this or should I go back and do it the mechanical way, or should I shift and do my way? And everybody has their own opinions about a lot of things, but sometimes you can take whatever you want to take out of that and shift it towards yourself and help you move forward.
Mhm.
So that's basically what talk to your barber shit is about. Just having conversations with people like yourself. And how long have you been in the game? I know we didn't really get a chance to talk. Basically,
Like
me
as
have
far
that
as
conversation with you.
yeah, like as far as how long have I been cutting, or just like
Like far as like, the beginning part of like just cutting. We're gonna get into the other stuff that you do now, but yeah, just like when you first started out
I
cutting.
I started cutting. I started cutting 33 years ago, man. 13 years old.
Well,
34 years
what
ago.
what made you transition that part into, becoming a barber, or did you have family members that was already in the beauty industry and then you just kind of gradually got into that, or was it you just like myself just thought about playing ball, being a sports commentator or
Mhm.
analyst, and then something just brought you to the barbering world, and now you're doing what you're doing, but
Uh,
what got
what got me? I mean, I just I wanted, back then when the little kids, there was the kid group, the boys, and they had the designs in their head and things like that. So I wanted to designs in my head. And at the time, certain barbers I was going to, this lady who was doing my mom's hair, she was cutting hair, and I went to her to put some parts in my head, and she didn't do it the way I wanted to do it. So the thought of me wanting to start cutting my own hair, that began, and then there was a kid in school and sitting in the front of in front of me in math class, and he would come to school with a different design in his head, like 2 times a week. And so one day I asked him, I said, "Man, who cut your hair?" And he said, "I do." And I said, "Really?" I said, "How?" And he was just, I get a mirror and I just start woo 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 woo.
you? Right.
So I took my allowance money and I went to Walgreens and bought my first pair of clippers. No lever on them. It was just the all black Osters with a red power
Yeah.
switch, and I had to adjust the screws to move the lever up to cut my hair. And man, that first time I cut my hair, I was in the bathroom for about 3 or 4 hours, man. Hey, I was up in there sweating and everything, man. I was nervous as hell, man, just jacking my head all up. And I went to school the next day and I got laughed at, man. You know what I'm saying? I got laughed at. But the thing about it is it went from kids asking me, like, "Man, who cut your hair?" to, "Man, who cut your hair?"
Right.
And I think in the time period, that I think probably was like maybe 6 months, because I was cutting my hair like every other day. I was every 2 days I was doing something to my hair. It just became this thing where I was just making my hair different, whether it was putting parts in my eyebrows, all that. But
Yeah.
I wasn't, that went on throughout high school or whatnot. I was cutting and things like that. And I put the clippers down from 96 to 2006. I was cutting maybe a couple heads every couple weeks because I got more focused into the production, to making music, making
Okay.
beats,
Okay.
and then I picked them. And then a friend of mine in 2006 that I went to high school with, during that time it was the recession, so
Yeah.
I
Yep.
was working different odd jobs and things like that after college, and he was like, "Dude, you've been cutting hair all this time. Why not go and get your barber's
Yeah.
license?" And I said, "Man, I don't want to be a barber. I got a degree, man. I ain't trying to cut no hair." And he was like, "Dude, it wouldn't hurt." And I took his advice, and to this very day, I still hit him up and thank him, man.
No, that's dope, man. It's crazy how this to think about and hear your story, but it's not too far fetched from mine. I me and my best friend, we was into music. I went to school to learn about the board, the engineering, the tones of what you hear in the music. So I went to Dominguez and did that. But my true passion was clothing. I dipped in that for a few years while I worked in the corporate world, and then once I got laid off from the corporate world, then I went full fledged with my clothes and tried my best to take it as far as I could. Got a lot of authority, was on the news and stuff, but it just wasn't able to pay the bills the way that I wanted to. And then my lady at that time, which is my wife now, came out and was like, "Hey, you ever thought about being a barber? I see you cut your hair. I got friends that's doing their stuff in the hair industry, and I think that might be a comfortable field for
Yeah,
yourself. You should go get your license and see where you can go with that." So
right, right,
it's been a beautiful journey. It's just funny, like
definitely,
you can have your mindset on so many other things, but then you get called back for something, and it could change your life
definitely,
in a great.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Mm-hmm.
Um, I just want to like, really, you know, my best to have these conversations with a lot of people because I'm still new. I'm still wet behind the ears in this industry, and then I try to my best to connect with people that I feel like are doing great things and wonderful things, and if they're willing to have that open door to share, and in ways, I guess, kind of like being a mentor, or just getting great advice of how to, do things that they feel like they maybe could have did differently, and maybe now sharing this information that they're sharing now, they don't want nobody else to fall in that same situation, and maybe be more prepared when those times come. Um, what is it that
Uh,
maybe that you see that you feel like maybe a lot of the young generation of barbers are missing out on, and you feel like if you had the opportunity to speak to some of these people, what would you tell
don't do it for Instagram, man.
them?
You know what I'm saying? Don't
Yeah.
do it. Don't do it. Don't do it because of what you see someone else doing on Instagram. Do it because it's a complete and true passion of yours that you would do if there was no social media around. See, I think the thing now is social media turned it into, superstar barbers, or the superstar hood barber or the superstar, whatever barber, and everyone wants that shine and
Mhm.
showing their work. So they get into this lane to become that. But my thing is, you shouldn't come into this lane to become that. Come into this lane because you truly enjoy what it is you do. You truly enjoy the game of being a barber, man. You truly enjoy cutting hair, no matter what, from the first cut to the very last cut. You enjoy it. Every person's head is a enjoyment of creativity coming from you, coming from your soul onto a piece of your you leave a piece of you with every client that sits with you.
Facts.
And every cut that you do, you leave a piece of you with them. And they go off into the world basically with something of you onto them. There you got some barbers out there that just cut to be cutting. The key is to leave a piece, uh, uh, leave your name on the cut.
Yeah, I bet.
That stands out,
Yeah,
makes you stand out.
yeah, I've been hearing that a lot. Like, make sure that when you cut, you build your own signature look, so you know that you're defining yourself, and you know, like like you said, you putting yourself into that environment that once that person walks out of there with a cut, that you're giving them a piece of yourself. So I
Right.
definitely I feel like that now that like I said about the clothes thing, like I made clothes and I had people order it, but I never got a chance to see how they felt once they put it on, or
Right,
how
right.
they carry themselves out into the world after they put a piece from mine on. But now, as far as like being a barber, when I'm done with a haircut and I could turn them around and let them see, the mirror and see what I did and transformation that they went through
Let me tell you
is
something.
huh?
Let me tell you something with that.
Yeah.
It's just like what you just said. It's also like me when I make beats. Like when I make a beat and I let other people hear a track I did or whatever, and they like, ooh, give them the screw face or whatever. That's the same way I feel when I hand the mirror to someone. They see the cut, and it's that same. It's like what is it? The endorphins. Like it's like what's the word that? It's like it's a kick. It's like a high. I get a
I
high
can't hear you because
from.
it keeps glitching. It was glitchy, so say that last part again.
I said I get a high from the reaction,
Okay,
from their
that drink.
reaction, and it's been something that
Yeah.
I've been getting that high from since I was 14, 13 years old.
It's funny that you talk about like the time that you went in the bathroom to cut your hair. And that was your first journey. I feel like that's a lot of a lot of the barbers got to experience that because it's something that you can always look back on and kind of laugh. It's like you have that first time cutting yourself, and your haircut may not come out the way that you wanted the first time. And it's also like when you go to the barber shop and you have that first client, and you do that first cut, you not maybe you feel a little comfortable, but you still waiting on the reaction from that person to let you know that oh yeah, you did a good job. But it's always that the first two, like man,
But
either
but see, the thing is, and this is where barber school comes into place. So
yeah,
that's another thing. A lot of cats, they want to skip the barber school step and go straight to the shop,
yeah,
and so they kind of work behind. They kind of work behind the hours, the working hours, so they can be, the owner of the shop. He just greedy, so he basically wants to get your booth rent and have you cutting in the back.
yeah,
That way, when whatchamacallit don't come through, state board come through, they can't come through after 5. So you in the back, but you skipped the step that you should have applied yourself to, because in barber school, when you get to cutting so many different people that are coming in and they paying $5 cuts, that begins to change your eye.
yeah.
That begins to change. You begin to gain the barber eye. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I remember when I got the barber eye in school, and I remember it was a Saturday, and I cut so many heads that day. I never cut that many heads in one day in my life at that point.
Yeah,
And I remember by the end of the day, I was tired, like I felt drained, and my eyes was like felt like I just wanted to go home and close my eyes and go to sleep. And that's when it hit me. I was gang. That day, I basically found the barber eye. I found the eye of the barber on that day, and I remember that. And from that day forward, my eyes shifted
yeah,
when it comes to a cut.
yeah. It's funny now, like you say that, like it's a lot of like things that I notice. I could just be out, and the first thing my eyes always glance at somebody's head, and you start, like analyzing everything, and I'm like, man, like or watching the TV show, and you see like the cut from when they had the first season, next season, and
You
you always feel like,
know,
okay, yeah,
what's interesting about
yeah,
that too is I was always looking at the cuts growing up. So to be doing what I'm doing now, I'm doing what I'm doing, remembering that young kid that was watching the haircuts on TV.
you're right. No, man, this is truly dope. I'm glad that I got the opportunity to sit with you and chop it up and hear your thoughts on
Yeah.
the industry and where you came from and where you at and the direction that you want the direction of what you see and don't see and hope with me sharing my content on my platforms that one or two people that are really trying to grind and hone in on their skills will hear something that you say, oh hey, let me take
The thing about this is, right. So for one, I'm from St. Louis. I moved to LA March because I wanted to come out here to
correct.
get into entertainment. I didn't know what I knew. I wanted to do something with music, but I didn't know what it was going to be. But fast forward to a year and a half after I was out here, I started working in the shop. A year later, I started working in a barber shop out here, and it was different celebrities coming in. And I remember I was my first day going into the shop. Um, I seen Faison Love sitting on the couch. I was like, oh shit, like where the hell, like So I just went up to him and said, man, introduce myself, like, man, what's up, man? My name's Skip. He's like, that's what's up, man, Faison. Anyway, 6 months later, um, Blair Underwood comes in. Oh, no, the owner of the shop, he says, hey, Skip, Blair Underwood's coming in at 5:30 and you cutting him. And I said, what? And,
Right.
and 5:30, Blair comes in and
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I'm here. And I was like, I was at my period. And he walked up to me. He said, you Skip? I was like, yeah. We dapped up. I started cutting his hair. 2 years later, from cutting his hair, he said, I have a show that I'm doing on NBC called Ironside.
Okay.
Do you want to be my barber for the show? I was like, hell yeah. And that's when I began to realize that I can take my haircuts from behind the chair in a barbershop to applying the same thing, but apply it to the people that are on TV. Now my haircuts are on TV
Yeah.
versus it being just in the community or just whatever. And then that became another thing, you know?
Yeah. I like how you deliver that, and I like the last part because I want to use that. you said like, being someone that was in the community cutting hair and now being, I would say now, a celebrity
Mm-hmm.
hairstylist. Um, I draw that back to like people that are wants to learn from being in an environment of a barbershop, but then now you have the next generation saying they want to go into suites from not just the celebrity aspect, but
Mm-hmm.
what that did help you gain. What is it that you feel like it's a good thing about maybe having a suite, and what's the negative thing about, barbers just saying, hey, I want to go straight to the sleeping, what you feel like they might be missing out on not going straight to a barbershop?
I mean, it's like it's like going to a community college or going to a university. They both they both apply in the same kind of way, but if you
Yeah,
go to a university, you experience a lot more than you would at a community college. So
yeah,
my thing is, especially barbers coming in the game trying to start in these suites, I would say you need to gain that experience of actually being in a barbershop and being able to socialize with other barbers, build your community, build your network, because you never know what barber you may meet that can change your life. You never know what client that barber that you may meet can change your life. You never know what can change your life. Being in a barber shop is like being in the neighborhood.
hmm,
Being in a suite is like being in your own private penthouse. But they both, it sounds good, but once you in there, you setting the pace for yourself, but you're not gaining that network. You're not widening your horizon of your community. If I would have started off in a suite, I probably never would have met Blair.
right.
Which and then and I never and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but that's just me though. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? These guys nowadays, they want to get the suites because it makes them feel, once again, like I said, that superstar shit.
correct. I
And
got
then and then you got a lot of, like, and then on top of that, being in a barbershop, you can have certain barbers that could be hating on you and things of that nature. But man, that's life, man. Life is being in a barbershop is like dealing with life. You have to deal with
you.
life first to then know what it is you do and you don't want.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you on that. I feel like I know we have been having a lot of deep discussions on in our industry nowadays with a lot of platforms speaking on what they hate about or dislike about um, a lot of the sweet life barbers, and then you have barbers that are in the suites that dislike a lot of the barbers that work at a barbershop and have an issue with them working at the suite. So it's been going around for a while. I just wanted to hear your thoughts and your opinion on it.
I
Uh,
think that if someone goes into a suite, they need to go into a suite already with their clientele already solid. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? I mean, if you go into a suite, you need to have at least 50. You need to have at least about 70 to 100 clients on deck.
right. No, that's true. That's very true. Um, what would you? What is it that you like now, or what is it has gave you more opportunity from walk? Have you completely walked away from the barbershop? Do you still tend to go and work at it, or now you just strictly I just do only set work?
Well, I mean, shit, man, we got the strike going on right now, so I'm back in the barbershop. You know what I'm saying?
Don't touch
I'm
on that.
back in the barbershop, but I'm back in the shop where there isn't booth rent. I didn't want to go into a shop worrying about booth rent
Okay.
and all that. I just wanted to go into a shop, get paid an hourly rate, you know what I'm saying, collect my tips and go home. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my thing is where I'm at now, if I'm not really trying to build up the clientele, you know what I'm saying? To
Mhm.
because if I do and then the strike is over and then boom, I get called to go work on whatever, I'm
Yeah,
gone. So
yeah,
it's like I'm setting up to, I don't want to do that to them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But that's the
Speaking
beauty
of,
of being a barber, is that you can go. That's the beauty of being a barber. You can go anywhere in the world and work. Anywhere in the world, you can go in the world and work as a barber, man. You can go to Saudi Arabia and work.
Right. Um, Speaking on the strike, like on the industry, beauty industry side, are because I'm not in the union. I don't really know what's going on. I know that the writers are on strike and everything like that, and
And the
it
actors,
affects,
yeah.
and it does trickle down and affect you guys as well. But is it something that you guys want as far as what you feel like you guys need to fight more for, besides just the writers fighting what they're fighting and the actors? Like, is the beauty industry stepping up and saying, okay, well, we need, to have this as well, and what's to say that, if this happens again, what is going to help us protect us from this that's
Um,
going on?
I don't. I mean, yeah, I think it all kind of trickles down because with AI, I mean, they can make a cut look like whatever the hell. But at the end of the day, man, you know what I'm saying? You still need people up in there doing these cuts, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't. People want to see real people on the screen, man. You know what I'm saying? You can have AI. You know what I'm saying? But people want to see real people, man. People want to see real emotions. People want to see real action, real live shit. Stuff. You know what I'm saying? So as far as me on my end of what I mean, I'm not really affected by it. As far as I mean, if they were to say, yeah, let's get back to work right now, let's go. You know what I'm saying? With us, with 706, I mean, and what IATSE in general, it's other little things. It's not really AI that is the concern, so to speak. There's other
Yeah.
little behind the scenes type of stuff that needs to get worked out.
Okay. Uh,
But if the actors ain't working and the writers ain't writing, then the barbers ain't cutting. I mean, we are. I mean, I'm like I said. I mean, once again, man, you can't stop a barber from not cutting nowhere, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna find somewhere to cut. I'm gonna find something to do. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the blessing in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the blessing in it.
so let's elaborate on that, the blessing part. What is it that you feel? I mean, for you to say, okay, I took that leap and I transitioned over into this area now. But now, like during this whole issue that's going on, it has allowed you to go back to the shop, even though you said I'm working at a shop. These are the stipulations that I don't want to deal with in case that opens back up. So, what is the blessing part of like saying, you working on that side of that area instead of just working at a shop?
Working on what side? The
Working
blessing or what? What do you mean?
in the industry, cutting celebrities' hair instead of just, being at the shop. What's more lucrative on that side than on the other side?
Oh, what's more lucrative between the two?
Yeah.
Working on set. To me.
Uh,
To me, I mean, you know what I'm saying? To me, you know what I'm saying? Like some people can't be on set and sit there all day.
mhm.
They'll go crazy. I can sit there all day. That's just me though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people cut and go. You know what I'm saying? I like to just be there because when you're there, you're getting paid. It's not like you sitting there and you're not making no money. You still
Mhm.
getting paid. You still getting paid to sit.
Mhm.
So whereas somebody can be in a shop cutting 30 heads a day, I only cut 2 heads.
Okay. So that's what I
So
mean.
so 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 also I say that to say I'm 47 years old too. I'm not in my early 20s.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to be sitting nowhere cut 30 heads a day. My max that where I'm at now with my body and the way that I can feel good to cut, I say at the most I do 15 heads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the most in
Yeah.
a day. I know my limit though, because I've cut so many heads.
Mhm.
And I'm not and we at that I'm at that age where I gotta still be cautious about, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to over ride my battery, man. You know what I'm saying?
Um, what would be the advice that you would give um, someone that is working at a barbershop and he's looking for an opportunity to get on this side? Like, what would be the steps that you would think he would need to take or she need to take to get to that point to say, hey, I would like to work on set and cut hair as well. Like,
Never turn down an opportunity. I don't care how much it is. They can say, man, we'll give you $50 to cut this. Dude, can you cut this haircut for this model at this whatever? They say we'll give you $50. We'll give you $100 to do it. Do it. It can be.
mm-hmm.
It can be. I don't give a damn if it's on a Saturday at 1 o'clock and you booked up all day. If someone from an industry of where you're trying to go hits you up and says, yo, can you come over to woo, woo, woo? We got 3 models that need a haircut for this event. Can you come do it? Go do it. Because what can end up happening is you end up cutting one of those models who likes your cut. Now they can also become a client, but that person sees that you came through for them. And now when they have another event that's better or bigger with a bigger budget, they offering you more money. So now you're working your way in. Then now when you're working your way in something like that, one of those models could be like, hey, I'm also an actor. I'm working on this indie movie. I like your cuts, blah, 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 blah. You think you'd be my barber for this indie movie I'm doing? You just never know, man. But you can't turn down the opportunity based on being at the barbershop and you have to, it's like one of those, look, man, I was working on a project with Rhonda O'Neal. Now, Rhonda, she helped me get it. She helped me start when she pretty much opened the door for me, starting me back in when I was trying to get into the union. She got me my first gig. It was the comedy Get Down.
Okay.
And I was on there. And I was cutting Cedric the Entertainer and George Lopez and all them. Anyway, she had another movie that she did, and it was a BET movie, summer 2018, and I worked that with her. I was making $75 a day. I still had clients hitting me up like, yo, man, I'm trying to get, can you cut me? Can you cut me? And I came to her and I said, Rhonda, you need me to stay all day, or because I got clients at the shop? She was like, do you want to do this or do you want to do that?
Right.
And I said, I want to do both, but I want to do this.
Yeah.
She was like, well, then you're staying. So I figured out a way where I said, you know what? Okay, if that's what I got to do, then I got to ramp it up. And I stayed and finished out the day and still went and cut my clients, even if I was at the shop till midnight.
Correct.
1 o'clock in the morning. You feel me? Like, you just got to push yourself to go where you want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's great. That's great information that you did share, because you said it's all about hard work, dedication, and then knowing to understand what is a great opportunity, and hopefully you could foresee that and know that, hey, you figured out ways to say, hey, I can maneuver myself to still, plant my seed over here, but still be able to collectively still do what I love doing, but hopefully reach
exactly.
So yeah, that was great information. I always try to go back to conversations or keywords that you use in the conversation, but also think of questions that could relate to the conversations that we having. I know we spoke about a lot of things as far as what information that you wanted to share to help uplift barbers in this industry. I know you spoke on social media presence, as far as what people focus more on than what they need to focus a lot more on. And I feel like with social media, it does give you a certain type of illusion, especially when you see so many barbers out here collectively saying that, they're making a lot of money doing this or charging this amount or whatnot. And, I don't focus on nobody's pay. And I know we get that a lot, especially, a lot of barbers now, when you have certain people walking or press clientele walking to the barber shop and they ask you how much is a haircut, and you tell them your price point and they want to belittle you now a lot more, especially on social media, about what barbers are charging is crazy and outrageous. But I know you don't have to deal with that somewhat because you know you work in the industry side. But
Right. But I see it though. I see it though.
yeah. So now being back at the barber shop, you know, and you hear like, are you like you say you seeing it, you're hearing it. What's your thoughts on what do you feel about a lot of that coming from the barber saying that they should charge almost $200 for a cut, and some barbers saying you're outrageous, you should be charging maybe a minimum between 30 to 40, or you know, and now like you said, we had that conversation about what customers are feeling. Like, what's your thoughts on all that?
I think it depends on the area that you in cutting.
Yeah.
You can't be you know what I'm saying, down in the, you know what I'm saying, in the hood, you know what I'm saying, trying to charge up $200. You know what I'm saying? Now they're folks ain't walking around with $200, and if they are, you don't want to let them know, you know what I'm saying, that you walking around with $200, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta wherever it is that you cutting, you gotta modify, you gotta align with the environment of what you should charge. Now, if you're cutting in a high end area in your city, then you charge high end prices. But you got to be in that environment because then now you're dealing with people who are openly willing to spend that money and tip you. But if you you know what I'm saying, you linking up with old boy down the street, you know, dope boy down the street, he may pay you the 100, but he ain't gonna tip you. He may pay you the, you know what I'm saying? It comes with other things that you got to deal with, other BS you got to deal with, and things like that. So I say, cats that want to charge those high prices, you gotta charge those high prices in the environment that are accepting of those high prices.
Facts. No, I like that. Um, I know for you, like how often do I mean we're working in the industry that you work in, definitely working in films, and then you work with like you know like the hairstyle, the clothing style, you know, the direction of what the director feels like he wants to have a visual. But for yourself, do you still attend a lot of like shows, fashion shows, like hair shows and stuff like that? To
Like hair shows, you know what, man? I told myself I wanted to. I told myself I wanted to go to. It was one that I looked up online. I think it's next April,
okay,
and I was like, you know what? I want to go to one. You know what I'm saying? I've never been to one, but I was like, you know what? I want to go to one because I mean I take my hat off to the guys that get those in those those how fat, you know, the fastest fade, and
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I think that shit is dope. So for me, I want to just go and experience that and see that. You know what I mean? So I haven't been to any yet, but I would love to go to one.
okay, okay. Yeah, I always wondered that, like, you know, the hairstylists or the beauty industry side of like the working in the film, like, do you guys collectively get together and say, hey, we need to go check out on some shows and see what looks are coming back and, you know, try to like
I
prepare?
should, because Eric G, the barber right there. You know what I'm saying? Me and him should go and hit something up. You know what I'm saying? Eric, Eric G, the barber. He was the barber All American this last season.
Oh, amazing. That's dope.
Mhm.
I'm still watching that show, and that's funny that you brought it up because I think I'm on season 5 right now, checking it out. So
Mm.
yeah,
Did you watch All American Homecoming?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, I was the barber on the first season of that show. I was the barber on the first season of that.
I usually like to trigger making sure I finish out one season before I jump to the next season. So I'm looking forward to checking that one out. I know I've seen that
Yeah.
on Netflix as well, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
jump on that. And
for
then
sure.
hey, I think I seen your work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? Don't the first 2 or 3 episodes. So I was like cutting Peyton, which was like the lead of the show. We was still trying to figure his cut out the first 2 to 3 episodes. So don't trip off that. Don't trip off the cut in the first 2 or 3 episodes. We finally got it down by like the fourth episode. You know what I'm saying? It was like, all right, this is
uh,
the look.
I don't know if
You
it's
froze
me.
up.
Yeah, my bad, man. I see it sometimes. It's like a full bar, and then it vanishes, and then it comes right back. So I apologize on the mishap we have with this Wi-Fi.
It's all
But
good.
yeah, I got a earful of the last part that you said on watching the next season and what I should particularly look out for as far as when you said you want me to check out the cut. So I heard you on
Yeah, it was
that
making
part.
the yeah. We was making the transition, trying to figure it out because his hair was growing when we first started the first season, and so we was trying to go. We was going with a certain look, but it didn't really come into play. I had to look down by the fourth episode.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So like I know I got a chance. I don't. You may know a lot of people from Barber. I mean, Beyond the Cones.
Beyond the Combs.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I apologize. I chopped all that up, but Beyond the Codes Academy. I
Yeah,
got to work at their event, and Rhonda O'Neill is an amazing woman. Glad I got an opportunity to sit down with her and speak with her and be a part
yeah,
of her amazing event. Um, and just to understand like what she did on that day as far as like bringing the environment of what it is the set life into back into the community and giving a lot of people in the community opportunity to work with a lot of amazing stylists that they look at these TV shows and be like wondering like, oh, who cut that hair? I love that fade, or I love that that hairstyle that's on my favorite actress or favorite actor, stuff like
right,
that. So bring
yeah,
that back into the community was definitely dope. But one thing that she did was having the clock, the 30-minute clock. How often is that really? How does that really go down when you have to make sure that you got to knock out
yeah,
these hairstyles?
yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah, you can't really be in there. Well, for one, the the actors they already have set cuts, set hairstyles or whatnot. So you pretty much and then you have a specific maybe actor or two actors, maybe three that you're styling or cutting for that day. So really, it's just about making them. It's about the continuity and just making them look the same way they looked for the scene, like from yesterday. So that way, there's no delays in like, hold on a minute, man, his fade didn't look like that in the
Right.
last scene. Now it's looking like this. So as long you have to like, that's why you just set the tone for the week with the cut, and you get straight to it. And there is no, man, remember that one day you was, they know all that talking and going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like in the barbershop, this is money. We got to get to. We got because you don't want the people being like, well, so and so was in the hair trailer for X amount of minutes, and then they came to makeup later. Because now it's like, oh well, hair held up
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
So it's everything is running on a system on a clock. So coming in the morning, it's very different cutting in a trailer,
Mhm.
cutting on set than it is cutting in the barbershop.
Right. How long?
I'm talking about with everything, man. What'd you
I
say?
said how long did it teach? How long did it take you to grasp that system that like learn how to like really speed up your process and say, okay, I know I need once I get such and such in my chair, I need to have them out
I
at
really
this.
learned I really learned that working on All American Homecoming with
Oh,
with
okay.
with that department head. You know what I'm saying? He was on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people that you run into in this industry, you know what I'm saying, they can be on you for reasons that you'd be like, damn, why is this person on me like that? And then in the process of it, you don't like it. But from working on that show, it made me a better barber on set working on that show.
I got you, man. I don't, I believe it or not, but I've been getting some likes and some notifications from. Do you have like a brand that you work with, or that you is part of
Um,
your
you said
uh,
who?
brand, like a cream or?
No,
Oh, okay.
uh,
Oh, okay. So
uh,
you're not associated with any type of this brand or anything?
No.
I thought.
Uh-uh.
Okay. Um, do you have anything like that that you wanted to get into, like anything that?
I do have a hair product line. It's called Frankie's.
Okay.
Frankie's hair products. I just haven't released any products yet. But I call it Frankie's because my grandmother, on my dad's mom, she was a hairstylist in St. Louis for 40 years, and she retired in '89 and she passed in '99. So I took it upon myself to continue her name, her legacy, and her name in a product that didn't just signal to just one person, to like a barber, but to
Yeah.
hair stylists in general.
Okay. Nice.
So I may come, you know what I'm saying? It could be whatever. I may drop a certain comb. I may release a certain blow dryer or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's all in the
Hmm.
process.
Okay. Okay. Dope. Um, are you a cosmetologist? Are you a Cosmo license as well?
Yeah,
Or oh,
yeah, I'm a hairstylist as well. I got my Cosmo. I did the Cosmo crossover. I got my Cosmo license in March of 2018.
nice, nice. And do you do a lot of hair work on set as well, or do you just mostly stick to the barbering
Yeah,
side?
no, I do wig. No, I do wigs. When I worked on Winning Time, I didn't cut any hair. It was strictly blow drying hair.
Okay.
That's all
Okay.
I was doing. That's all I was doing was blow drying hair on Winning Time and putting on wigs.
No, that's dope. I'm in the process of that as well. I just finished my hours. Now I'm
Okay.
just prepping my for the test. Um, just studying. I feel like
I
right now.
put like this. Trip off this. Trip off this. I failed my Cosmo test 6 times before I passed it the seventh.
Wow, it's funny because
I
I,
man, I
I
crazy.
I understand it. I like all the stuff that I feel like now is like it's different because when I took my barbering test, I did the written and I did the practical. But now since everything is shifted, especially in California, I don't know if you
I
know the
heard
new
about that.
setting now. The barbering hours are been reduced, and if you have been doing the crossover, it's only 2 hours
It's how
and
many? It's how many now?
200 hours.
Wow. So yeah, it was 300 when I did it.
And then you don't have to do the practical; you just do the written.
That's crazy. Yeah, it was a practical and the written, and I was not, I was failed the written test by 2 points, 2 points, 1 point, 3 points. I did that
No,
6 times, bro. 6 times, bro, and then passed it on the seventh
hey,
point.
but it's meant to be. It's meant to be.
If it's meant to
Especially
be, it's meant to be.
if you, especially if you really want it, you're gonna go back and keep getting it.
Keep getting it,
Um,
man. Keep getting it.
no, that's dope because I definitely with me, I do add a lot of different features to my catalog as being a barber at the shop. Now, um, you know, now understanding the whole Cosmo side, what product to use in people's hair or their skin, what things you shouldn't do or add to mixture and stuff like that. It's been more lucrative and more helpful in a lot of things, especially with me trying to give my clientele more information. That's the best part to know that I could share something with knowledge. That's when you should be doing to your hair, or maybe you should leave this alone. Yeah.
You know what I witnessed, what I'm witnessing happening now, as far as with teen uh uh white males between the ages of 13 and 21. They got a style now where their hair is full and it's curly, but they have the taper underneath and the taper in the side.
Yeah.
So you know how, like, so where it's not up, but they're actually curling their hair.
Yeah.
They're like blow drying it and like curling it like with a curling iron, like little curls. So just think that he wants the whole. Imagine if you whipped out a curling iron on him and hit those curls, boom, boom, boom. Hit
Yeah.
that with some holding spray, with that taper underneath, with that lining going. Come on, man. You tapping into something else to where it's like, bro.
Yeah. No, you're correct.
It's a
And
whole other thing out here.
that's what I've definitely been feeling now. Like that's the understanding. Like it's more to this industry if you're willing to take the time out to really do research and add more. There's more detail and arsenal to your your weapon. So yeah,
And one
I'm learning.
and one
Yeah,
more thing I want to say, man, is that it's one thing. Being a black barber, I need for black barbers and white barbers. I need for the black barbers to not just focus on just cutting black hair. I know black barbers that all they cut is black hair.
yeah,
You got white barbers that all they cut is white hair. My thing is learn how to cut all hair. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I've been in a barbershop now for the past going on the third week, and I've only cut one black person's hair since I've been in that shop.
You're right.
I've cut nothing but white people's hair, man.
No, man, where I'm at is more, I won't say dominantly all black, but we have, you have the Spanish, and then sometimes I'm not too far from the airport, so occasionally, people that's traveling through that might have straight hair, they'll come to the shop. So what made it a blessing for me is that the school that I went to was in Torrance, so it allowed me to work on a lot of straight hair. So
That's
now
how
that when they
my
come to
school was. That's how my school was. Yep.
I feel comfortable with styling their hair. So
And
that's
and, and,
that's
and you know what stepped my game up? Cutting white people's hair. It was
yeah.
the barbershop I was in Sherman Oaks. So you from out here?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Inglewood.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, shit, man. Well, I was cutting hair when I first moved out here. I was cutting on the corner of La Brea and Hyde Park at a barbershop called Original Got Styles with an owner named Stanley, and he let me up in his shop for 2 months, and
Yeah,
I was up in there, man. It was a big, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was right over there off of La Brea when I first moved out here. But I started working, yeah. So the shop that I was working at in Sherman Oaks, it was a guy that came in. He was from out of town. He just moved out here too, and he had a white man get in his chair, and man, when he hit that, he had he wet the hair up and did that clipper the
yeah,
shears over
yeah.
comb
Mm.
in his hair. I said, oh man, I gotta step my game up, man. And from that day forward, I started doing the shears over, what I'm saying, my fingers, what I'm saying, with the comb and getting that down, man, getting that down. My specialty also is the clipper over comb, man. I love doing the clipper over comb, man.
Yeah. It, it's fire. I mean, once you can see how you can lay the hair, especially straight hair, and you can do the comb over, and and put that wax that they love, to give it that high curve, and it's, and then just to know that you gave somebody what they really asked for, and when they look in the mirror, they're like, yeah, that's what I wanted. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's an
Yeah, yeah.
industry. Um, what would you tell your younger self if you had the opportunity to speak to your younger self that you at this point in your life now with the stuff that you have done and seen? Would it be anything that you would want to like kind of shift with your younger self, or you feel like that younger person got you to where you at now?
I would have my younger self, I would have went to barber school first and then
Yeah,
college. That way, at least when I'm in college, I could have been working in a barber shop versus going to college first, working odd jobs after all that, then going to barber school. So
all right.
I say fresh out of high school at 18, I would have went and got my barber license at a barber school and then went off to college.
I
That's
like
what
that.
I would have told that's what I would have done differently looking back on it. But
Uh,
once again, I didn't know. I didn't know I wanted to be a barber.
right?
Feel me? It was just something I was doing, and it wasn't brought to my attention to do.
Yeah.
Because, and also back then, being a barber, it wasn't looked upon like
No.
how it's looked upon now. So we talking 94, like it wasn't looked upon like being a barber is now.
Mm.
You what I'm saying?
I feel
Now,
like
being a barber is like, it's like you turn 18 and your dad's like, what you gonna do with your life? You either gonna go to the army or you gonna be a barber.
right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? So,
facts, right? It's funny now. It's funny now to just to see, you know, I'm a '80s baby, so now to go through so many decades and then to see where barbering has come and where it's at now, and to see all the amazing stuff that you can now watch on YouTube or social media.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy now. Now people really, I think that's what it is now with the shift. Is it's causing people to really understand that really looked at barbering like that's not really they always wanted to look down on it, but and even when they want to, you know, even when it comes to the pay, they want to finagle or figure out how they can reduce what they want to, pay to you. But now they're looking at it like, no, that isn't real business. No, I should treat this as a real. And at the end of the day, we change lives. We're give you the opportunity to look a certain way for your date. We give you the opportunity to look a certain way for like you said, your working on set, or going to an interview. Sometimes you're a therapist.
Hell
To
yeah. Sometimes, all the time. Man.
right. So I was like, how do you try to look down on this industry when it gives you so much and so much back? I
Exactly. Definitely.
I got a chance to see one of the NBA players that spoke on that, and
Yeah, I
it went,
saw it too.
huh?
I said, yeah,
Was you able to
I
hear me?
saw it too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I saw it too. My girl showed it to me. She sent it to me.
yeah, where you spoke about having a barber is like a therapist. For him to hear everything that I'm dealing with, what I'm going through, family wise, money wise, whatever, however you have that connection with your barber, and you get to sit there and have someone, maybe respond back, or you just get a chance to vent. So, it's so many different categories
Hey,
in this field.
listen, man. I had a client of mine, man. He was telling me how he was, the stuff he was doing. Married client. He telling me about the stuff he doing with other women and all that. And he told me, he said, man, I don't. He said the stuff I be telling you, I don't even tell my closest friends.
Yep, yep.
He's like, I said, and why is that? He said, because I see them all the time. I only see you once every few weeks.
Right.
And and who am I gonna tell? You feel me? I was like, yeah, that's what's up, man. You know what I mean? Because he telling
Right.
me all that, and we get to talking and laughing, and like,
Yeah.
who am I gonna tell? I'm not gonna. I don't know your wife. I don't know. You know what I mean? I know you. I know you right here in the chair, and I'll see you again in 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
Right. 100%. I always like to leave my guests with this. It's called law of attraction. It is basically you can spin that off of like how that's been lucrative as far as your regular day life, or how do you use that in your business um, attitude of like what do you want, what are you grasping for, or what energy you put out that you feel like is coming back full force. So law of attraction in your you explain how does that work for you as far as just your regular personal life or your business?
Well, first off, I'm gonna say this: my law of attraction. I am my law of attraction. I be, I,
Yeah,
I'm a walking testimony of my law of attraction. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
by me understanding that and recognizing that, but also recognizing the fact that without God, none of this would be possible. You know what I'm saying? Then I take that into my everyday life and I let God lead the way. And as long as I'm a passenger in the way that He's moving me, I'm going to be okay.
100%. That's how you deliver that.
I
But
mean, look,
man,
look. At the same time, I can't denounce the fact that 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 God has been with me every step of the way. I was a 13-year-old kid cutting my hair, man. How am I gonna be a 13-year-old kid cutting pure innocence Well, not complete innocence, but innocence.
To now living out, the dream. You were just cutting your hair at 13, but now look, and I believe,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I'm
like you
saying. That's nothing but God. It's nothing but God. So law of attraction, God has instilled that in me from day one. That my law of attraction is believing in Him, having faith in Him. He will lead the way. Everything will be fine. So as long as I keep that same positive attraction in my daily life, then positive affirmations is what gets shown to me.
yeah. No, I mean we in certain ways that how you deliver your information, it reminds me a lot of like my journey as well. So to hear what you're saying, I'm taking that all in because I'm like, I feel the same way. Like man, I went through that. I hear everything that you're saying, and it just opened up like a broader door for me to know that my time will come when it's ready.
I mean,
I just got to be
look,
patient.
I mean, look at what's happening now. I mean, you got this podcast going, man. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
hit me up. You hit me up randomly. That's why when you had told me, you said, well, when you asked, like, okay, what questions? I said, listen, man, I go off of pure energy. I
yeah,
go off of pure energy in the moment. You feel what I'm saying?
100%.
There, you can ask me so many questions. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, and then no, I'm gonna be. We're talking off the grid,
Yeah,
but it's on grid. You feel what I'm saying?
right.
Like we barbers, man. We barbers. You know how it be. It's no different than being in the shop. I'm over here cutting in my chair. You over there cutting in your chair, and I'll be like, man, what you talking about? And you like, man, that one time, and I'm like, man, yeah. But at the same time, you over there knocking down that fade. I'm over here knocking down this fade. Like we barbers, man. This is what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely want to see a lot more of this. I'm glad that I was able to, find my little nick and cranny and push through with this as the way that I feel like I'm able to. But as a whole, with the barber industry, I definitely want to see us make way where we.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
slowing
like
up.
I see a lot of barbers battling. Huh?
Yeah, your reception was thrown off.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm just elaborating that I want from what I see, I want this business to collectively come together. I still see a lot of barbers, battling each other, saying what they feel like, they don't like about this barber or what that barber is doing or how this barber is pushing for it. But I think this is a business that we all can come together and doesn't seem like we have to like, you know, put somebody or face or something in front of somebody to make that person feel more important than what this is really about. It's all about us, making money, taking care of our family, being smart about our investments, and that's what I feel like that should be what this platform, what we're doing, should be more shared about, not how much this barber is making and what that barber should not be making, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess with me, man, I don't associate myself with that type of thinking or that type of environment as far as on the barber level. You know what I mean? Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? I look at like, listen, man, at the end of the day, we all of us got our own pair of clippers, man. You use them how you want to use them. Same
Right?
way everybody got their own pair of shoes, man. You wear them how you want to wear them, man. I can't knock how you do what it is you do because no matter what, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
So, what type of music? I love it. Talk to you a little bit more before we jump off. But what type of music?
Um, I do hip hop. Like I come from that '90s boom bap, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm on that '90s boom bap, but I'm like all over the place as far as music. But as far as I mean, I dropped some music. I dropped the album with this artist named from Boston named Ed OG. He had a record out back in. He was popular like in the early '90s and shit. But me and him dropped the album July 28th. and I just dropped another single for my solo album coming out in November with an artist named the Guy Fahim. So all my stuff is up on Spotify, man, under Mr. Skip.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely check it out. I can use some
Yeah, Mr. Skip.
tracks from my videos I be doing on my barber page when I be making my videos. So I
Yeah,
could
just let me know. Holler at me. Yeah, just holler at me.
yeah, 100%. But
For
like I
sure,
said,
man.
man, it's wonderful. I appreciate you taking time out, especially at
Appreciate you,
this.
man.
You that we
No,
can
it's
get
all
on,
good.
yeah, chop it up and spread the word about what we love best, talking that barber shit. So
No
thank
doubt.
you again.
No doubt.
Man, if you want to hit me up and say, "Gee, I got something that I want to get on your platform and talk about," this is what it is. So, I always have recurring guests that come back on and we just chop it up. So that's what I want to
All
make
right,
this
word.
about, like where we can just reach out to each other and say, "Hey, let's go talk that barber shit. I got something I want to share to these
For sure,
barbers."
man.
All right,
Definitely,
man.
definitely. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, man.
Cool, cool,
Have
cool.
a good one.
You too.